Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. Mosh Monday. We got a lot to get to, but before we start, I can't believe it. Another beautiful blue sky with white puffy clouds. This reminds me of when I was a kid. It's been like this for, a long time. I'm sure you've noticed. Check it out. Oh, come on now. You can't tell me that's not just absolutely beautiful, huh? Look at that. Look at that blue sky. Look at that. The clouds. Something's going on, but I love it. Whatever it is, I love it. Okay, real quick, I want to show you these three specialized plants I bought. I had them imported from... Okay, they're weeds. But let me tell you something, okay? I know this is crazy, and everybody likes those funky, those real nice, swirly bushes and things like that. But ever since I'm a kid, I love weeds. I do. I just think they're beautiful. And you know what's so great about them? First of all, they stay green even when we're having a drought-like condition. They're very green, and they're going to have some nice flowers when they do mature. Looking forward to that, and I'll show them to you when they do. Next up, you remember my hydrangea, how nice that's coming up. And look at that beautiful colors. Now that color of the flower all depends on the pH of the soil, and my neighbor has one. Let me show you the color of her. Now, this is only 50 feet away, and this is the first year she's ever gotten flowers. But look at them. Look at the color of these, huh? And look how many she's got. And I told her, because they're hydrangea, you got to keep watering them. That's important. They need a lot of water. But look how beautiful, huh? Look at that purple, and especially with these orange, what are these, tiger lilies, I think? Oh, just beautiful, huh? You got to appreciate stuff like that. Okay, real quick, this is my neighbor's property here, and let me tell you something. You see this little statue right here? This statue, what's really cool about it is in Italy, there's a full-size building of this statue, and what happened was the person who designed the statue, the builder, he had to make two little models to get it approved before they could put it into a full-size statue, and this is one of the models. This is all the way from Italy. How cool is that? Okay, last up, there's my house, and this is my neighbor's flagpole. Now, I remember the man, before he died, before he put it up, it was actually two pipes, and you see that flagpole? It's been here for years, and I usually put the flag up and take it down for her. But I was thinking of putting one up in front of my property, right over there, What do you think? You think we should put up a flagpole? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, like another pigeon. Well, this is actually a 2-day-old pigeon. What do you think? Pretty good looking, huh? They're good looking creatures right from the get-go, aren't they? Look at that. Yep. First time you ever saw sunlight. I'd like to introduce you to Pipes. This is one of 3 kittens that were dropped here from a pregnant mother during the COVID epidemic. Just got him fixed yesterday. It's a he. There's actually 3 boys. He's a great little guy, this guy. Oh yeah, he's a wonderful little guy, this guy. I love this guy. But there's 3 of them. You can see one under there, and there's another one, Stripes. Just got them fixed yesterday, all 3. There's so much beauty that surrounds us all day long, and in the littlest of things, if you could just open your eyes and see it, you'd do so much better. We get caught up in what's going on, and the one thing I want to talk about the news and everything, that a lot of people write me and say, man, the world has gone crazy. You have to remember one thing, and always remember this, the 1% rule, and that is that everything you see that's going on, all the craziness, that's only 1% of the total population of the world. 1%. So, we're talking about 1 person in 100, and for every 1 person, or for every 100 people you see out there, there's 10,000 people sitting home shaking their head going, that's crazy. So don't ever think that the world has gone nuts. It hasn't. There's always been 1% of the population has always been a little bit wild, or whatever you call it. So just keep that in mind. It's only 1%, So that's good news. Okay, now that we've been kind of cooped up for a while, I've been watching a lot of movies, and I have to tell you, some of the movies that they did in the 80s and stuff are really good. Like Rambo, First Blood. That movie still holds up today. I love that movie. And Total Recall, the original Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, whom, by the way, I will tell you my experience with meeting Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a good story, and I'll tell that in the upcoming future. But Total Recall, there was so many good parts in that. Actually, every once in a while you put it on, it's like you can't, I gotta watch it. There's so many good parts, and the more you watch it, the more you can enjoy it. Remember Kuato? I don't want to be a spoiler if you haven't seen the movie, but remember when he goes into there and he meets him, and he says, "You want to meet him?" and he opens up his shirt like this, and then all of a sudden You know what's funny? I was just thinking, if for those of you who haven't seen Total Recall, you probably think I lost my mind right about now. But hopefully a few of you have seen it and it was worth that little clip. Okay, next up, I was doing some cleaning upstairs. I ran across a problem container. I thought maybe we would just cover this really quick. You know, I'm a big fan of plastic. However, plastic has its place, and there are certain types of plastic that don't have its place in chemical storage. Now, here we have some different varieties of different plastic containers, and if you look at the bottom here of a plastic container, and I'll show you right here. If you look at the bottom here, you'll see a little triangle, usually made up of 3 arrows. And in the middle of that triangle, there'll be a number, and you can see this number here is 2. Now, each number designates what type of plastic it is and how to recycle it. It's amazing, right? We don't even know half this stuff. So let me show you. This here is a chemical resistant sprayer I use for my WD-40, which I need to fill up again. But if you look at the bottom here, you'll see that little plastic triangle here. You see that? And there's a number 1 in there. That number 1 stands for polyethylene terephthalate. It's a chemical composition you don't usually see too often, but it's very good, very chemical resistant. The number 2 stands for polyethylene, high-density polyethylene, HDPE. You know, you see that a lot. This is the stuff you see in a lot. It's really good. HDPE, love that stuff. And it has kind of a funny texture to it, you know. But I love this stuff, HDPE. Now, here's the reason I'm starting this video. You see this here? This here is for my hand warmers. It's fuel for the hand warmers, you know, that you put in your pocket, those silver ones. But this here is a terrible, and you can see here it's a number 3. Now, number 3 is PVC, polyvinyl chloride. And the problem with PVC is that chemically it breaks down. Now, if you ever see, you know what comes a lot in this? Lighter fluid containers, you know? And if you've ever had lighter fluid containers for a while, sometimes they get brittle and they'll squeeze, you squeeze it, you break it. They have no UV properties, a lot of them, you know? So this is not a good source for chemicals. And that's why we're doing this today. It's because I'm going to change this and put it into a nice glass bottle. Here's an old syrup bottle. I like it. It don't have a big footprint, but it's a beautiful little bottle, and I'm going to use that for that. So I got my funnels. I'm ready. This here, you can see here, this on the bottom here, it says it's made in Canada, but it doesn't have a recycle number on what type of plastic it is. It has a number 2 there, but I don't believe this is HDPE, high-density polyethylene. I believe this is a vinyl. Again, the vinyls, you got to be careful because after a while they become brittle. Here's another one. Now you see this one here? This is an expired Amsoil gasoline stabilizer. And this, I don't even know when this was bought. But if you look under here, it says number 7. Number 7 stands for other. So that could be other plastic, you know. And I don't trust this at all. I could tell by the type of plastic it is that, you know, I don't even want to squeeze it. But there's really nothing too flammable in there that you have to worry about, you know, if it should break or something. So it's always a good idea to keep an idea. I'll put a list of what each chemical designation is for recycling and what they're labeled at. But that's why the old-fashioned glass bottles, here's an old Singer oil bottle. You know, I know glass is fragile, but I got to tell you, glass lasts forever. And you don't have to worry about it. I like glass. You just got to be careful. You don't want to put on something that is shaky or whatever. But be careful with your plastics, especially your lighter fluid containers. They're always in this crappy vinyl. And when you do put it into a different bottle, make sure you label it. That's really important. Label it so it don't come off, because some people write on marker, but then all of a sudden it smears off. Put it tape and label it well. Another little tip, I got to fill up this bottle. Like I said, this one don't have a big footprint. You can see it could topple over. So when you want to fill it up, take one of these clamps here, put it like this, lay it on, and just clamp it lightly there. And now you don't have to worry about this tipping over. Put your funnel in and then fill it up. Now, sometimes you get lucky, you could peel the label right off of here and it still retains its stickiness and put it right onto the jar like we did here. So there is my hand warmer fuel and in this nice little syrup container. And it's glass. I never have to worry about this breaking or chipping. I've had some lighter fluid ones break on me and leak out. Okay, as the sun is setting, a beautiful sunset, you could see I just retired the flag. It's in for the night, and now the lightning bugs are starting to come out. You can see a few on the lawn. But what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to take down the birdhouse here, the bird table, You can see what kind of shape it's in, and we're going to give it a redo. When these bird tables are on top of the pole, they look so much smaller than they are. That's why you got to build them big, because they do shrink when they go up there. There's a can of 336 just for comparison. You can see how big this is. Okay, we ripped off the old roof. This is the basic, design that we go with here. And you can see what a beautiful design that is. You can always put a new one on. We will restain this, and I had to repair a couple cracks here. And how I do that, you see on the bottom here, how I did that is I filled it in with some Type Bond 2 glue, and then I just sprinkled some fine sawdust. It's almost like powder. Sprinkle it over there, let it dry, and then when I cover that up with the stain and the varnish and everything, that'll be good. Again, it's only meant to last for a couple of years. And then we'll stain over this and we'll make a roof, and Bob's your uncle. Now you know my favorite part. Remember what this bird table looked like before we started. And we are calling this project done. Did it basically the same way. Just put a new roof on, restained everything, coat of shellac, coat of varnish, spar varnish so that's UV protected, and repainted the bottom. This one, the original, lasted 4 years before I had to do anything to it. I could have it last longer if I was to put some kind of roofing on there, like a tin roof or something, which is something I would look into next time. But yeah, so I'll have this up for Wednesday's video, and I'm sure the birds have been missing it today. Okay, in closing, this was a heck of a mosh, wasn't it? We went all over the place today, but that's what we do on Mondays, Mishmash Monday. Anyway, thanks very much for tuning in. Hope you have a nice day. Take care now. Bye-bye. And we are back in service. Ready for another few years.